Come here now, girl.
Hello and welcome to WhatsMap, your one-stop shop for everything workshop. I'm BonBonB and you're very, very welcome. Well, it's Friday's day of the week. We turn to the BonBon buddies over on Patreon and say, hey guys, vote us in a map. And they've gone with this one. Now, if you want to get involved in that voting process, choosing the map for the Friday, $1 a month, that is all I ask of you. There are tiers above that where you can get more and more benefits, and I've got like hundreds now of exclusive behind the scenes as I make these things videos kind of thing for you to watch, like the creation of my last map. But just for $1 you get to vote and you get your name in the credits, so what more could a guy ask for? What we have today is a real life location. If you know Oregon Bay, if you've been to Newport, then maybe you might want to recreate it, and this is going to be a pretty solid map for that, I've got to say. Very solid. Also, a solid game to play is BonBonBingo. Link is in the description. Check off the memes as we go along. And before we get started, of course, it's time for the daily reminder. That's right, clicking that like button really does support the channel, gets me seen by more people, and helps me grow a little bit more every single day. Thank you for your support. Today's map is Oregon Bay by Eid09, or Ediog, as I just suddenly realised it might be. But we're going Eid09, could be EDE because it's all capitals. I never know. Let's have a look at that start square. Start square looks very pleasing. I've got to say that is a very pleasing looking start square. We've got plenty of hills around Oregon Bay, and in those hills we have lots of oil. That might be hard to access, but you know what? You might want to have a go at it. And then, of course, if you have Sunset Harbour and you want to do some fishing, it's mostly about those anchovies with a little bit of salmon in one of the rivers. Two of the rivers. Off to the workshop. Well, the workshop, off we go. And what do we need? It's a mass transit map. You will need mass transit for this one. There are a few things to subscribe to. The one that I don't have there, no radioactive desert and more. I use Hide It for the same purposes. We'll be using today the SCT Homecoming theme and the realistic 1.2 LUT. But I'm supposed to be using the relight average LUT. And that was an oops. I've been a very busy boy this week. Having to cram out an extra Watts map this week means that I've been a little bit squeezed, and I've got to be honest with you, I completely forgot to switch LUTs. So we're looking at the realistic 1.2, which is your LUT of choice, guys. But we are supposed to be using relight average, which is much punchier, much sharper. It's got more contrast, and therefore what I'm going to do at the end, whatever score I was going to give this for aesthetics, I think we'll add maybe 1/4 of a star extra for the punchier LUT. I think that's probably a fair addition, though that might make a bit of a difference to the overall score for the map. In terms of standards, we've got some decent standards. Look at this highway. It looks like parallel road tools being used, and used to good effect. We don't have any trees clipping through the road, so we're pretty clear there as well, so no work to do before you get started. And we've got some pretty slick looking intersections, some pretty decent standards throughout. In terms of the intersection here, it's about as nice as you'd want it to be. It's smooth, it's clean, it's clear, it's crisp, and the road there, it's a national road that heads off inland. We'll have a look at that in the second half of the show. It's a map that doesn't have too many distractions on it, so we'll take some time to do a quick fly over the national road that goes inland on the second half. Now, we've got a couple of custom bridges. I didn't mention that on the workshop page, but they are there to subscribe to as well. Again, the map won't be broken if you don't have them, but what we do have is very nice work here. Very nice. I mean, in terms of, again, the standards of detailing here are absolutely spot on. Have a look at this. That is very solid indeed. Now, if anything on this particular map, my only grumble in terms of the detailing is I'd like to see a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Because what we've got, what bits of detailing we've got, like that bridge, this intersection here, very nice. There's your start square over there. The roundabouts are all very nice. They say there's a second custom bridge, which was easier to do, but that was very nice as well. The networking is all very nice, although there's not an awful large amount of it. There's just this one highway and the national road that goes up into the hills a little bit. There's not too much to talk about, and I find it a little bit underwhelming in terms of detailing. But that said, there's no fault in the detailing at all. So when it comes to giving a detailing score, the question is how much of it, is there anything here that really raises the map to the next level? And I would say the only place where I'd say that is a thing is the main bridge. And the rest of it is all just raising it to a very solid level. So I might be borderline on that one. Oh, time for an intermission. Let me think.
Are you confused with the difference between a mod and an asset? And what's the deal between a theme and a LUT? Then you need BonBonB's Beginner's Guide to Mods, Assets, Themes, and LUTs. Click the information button now.
And back to the shipping routes at Oregon Bay by Eid09. And the shipping route that goes up and into the bay. Now this bridge looks like it might be a bit low for vanilla shipping. We will check that. We will check that one. Anyway, yeah, it goes in and it goes back out. So, right. So is that going to be high enough? Let's just make sure this is going to... Yeah, this goes back along the edge of the map here. And there's your ship, careering through the... It's not game breaking, but it is distracting. Okay, water flow, start square area. Start square area is around here. And have we got water pushing through this strait? I would say we have. There's always a very strong chance when you have a setup like this with a bay, with water being evaporated, water has to be sucked in from somewhere. And it's been sucked in down a very solid route there. I like that. Okay, I also like this entrance into the bay here. This is all very nice. I've not looked at the real life location today. I didn't have time to, but what I'm seeing here are some very strong standards. Up into the hills. The hills are more stylized in terms of tree painting. I see a little bit of fade on the edges of these tree lines, but I can't fault it. It's definitely strong. I use the word stylized. It's stylized work up here in the hills. They're not very exciting, but they're fine. They do the job. A little bit of field painting down here in the farm area. Okay, I promised you would go a little ride inland. Now, we can only access this national road from one side of the highways. So I guess that's a minusy little score on detail, or possibly a gameplay, or possibly both. Possibly, depending on what mood I'm in and how much I feel it affects gameplay. We've got this little road that goes in. This is a cul-de-sac, just goes down into a dead-end area up there. A little bit behind the logo, but it does stop at around the logo there. Here's that second custom bridge, which again has been done very neatly indeed. Always easier to align the ones which don't have any uppy bits. They're all the downy bits, you know. You just got to sit it. Honk, honk. There's one for the BonBonBingo players. That counts as engines and sirens. Now these drowned trees here, I don't mind them. I know people think that any tree with its feet in the water, I'm always going to mark down. Those aren't drowned trees. Those are just a little bit marshy and boggy trees. And because they weren't the big trees, they're just little trees, I think they're believable. So yeah, you can get away with sometimes with trees with their feet in the water. I think those are believable. We've got a nicely done roundabout here again with some very nice basic detailing. Very clean and crisp and slick work there, allowing you to start building up in this area here, of course only from one direction. And then if we head down to the highway again, you'll see, oh, we have access in both directions over there, so it'll be okay. It will work. Meanwhile, back to the start square, and we've got the return of Palms Time. I love Palms Time. If you're doing a Thai build, they have got all of the Thai assets. This is the toll surveillance building by Palms Time. There are a few variations of this, and in fact when you subscribe to it you'll get 2 variations as well. One of the variations is this is standard building here. Then with Snowfall you get the actual proper maintenance building, and there's another version as well I've forgotten already because it was like a couple of days ago when I looked this up. But there you go. Great looking building, and I'd use it for something other than toll surveillance if this was me. It's a nice building. Factoids, because factoids. Off to El Franco, or France as I like to call it. Between the 2 world wars, France was controlled by 40 different governments. 40. That's what I call stability. I mean, how long was the gap between the wars? Where are we? 16 to 39, wasn't it? So 26, 36, 23 years. 40 governments in 23 years. That is like, that's like Colombian level, isn't it? Toll surveillance building by Palms Time. That is today's asset of the day. Very good. And something that I would consider using on the island, which of course episode 4, episode 4 is out tonight on my new Let's Play. Do check that one out. Right, okay, episode 3. Episode 3, help. Anyway, what do you think of today's map? Is it a 1-star map? Is it a 5-star map? Is it somewhere in between? Your vote really does count. We use it at the end of the month for the Viewer's Choice Top 10. Will this be one of the top 10 maps of the month? Only you can decide. Hit the I button now in the top right hand corner of your screen, or the link in the description. It'll take you to the voting page where you can vote for free. But what do I think of today's map? Well, aesthetically, I think it's okay. I like it a fair deal. I think it's a good shape, pleasant design. I think I would go for a high 3 on this one. But it should really have that really like average LUT. So we'll push it up that 1/4 of a star into low 4. Detailing, I'm borderline on this one. I think the standards where we've got standards are easily 4-star standards. I'd just like to see a little bit more. I'd like to see a little bit more investment into the map to really make it pop. So I am going to hold back on that and just give it a very high 3 stars. But yes, it's very clean, crisp, very nice. Gameplay potential, pretty playable. And I think even with that missing connection, I'm still confident that this would be a good gameplay. So let's go for a lowish 4 stars. Oregon Bay by Eid09. Yeah, I think this has got something special about it. A little bit stylized, quite pleasant, plenty of buildable locations, good standards, nothing to fix apart from one intersection. How long will that take you? Well, it'll take me about an hour. It'll take me about an hour getting everything just perfect. But it's just another day in the office for me anyway. Right, anyway, if you're still here, you're part of the 20 and out elite. Use the words of the day in the comments. Score yourself some population points just for fun. And I'll be back tonight. Join me tonight for the Let's Play. See you then.